Okay guys, before we get into the multiplication rule, let's just practice raising numbers to exponents. First things first, anything to the 0 exponent is 1, regardless of if it's a number or a variable. Now what does it mean when it says -4 to the -3rd power? You know we can do negative powers and put them in a denominator and change the exponent to positive. So the -4 multiplied 3 times, but it's in the denominator. -4 times -4 is 16. 16 times -4 is -64. Now you may bring the negative in front, -1/64. You may not want to keep track of negatives, so one thing that you can keep in mind, if it's a negative number raised to an odd number, it'll be negative. If it's a negative number raised to an even number, it will be positive. 3/5 to the -3rd. If you've got a fraction, the whole thing will flip over to become positive. So 3/5 to the -3rd is the same as 5/3 to the positive third. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. 4 to the -1st plus 7 to the -1st is 1/4. 1 over 4 to the 1st plus 1/7. Here you can use your fraction rules. Common denominator, multiply by 7, multiply by 4. 7 28ths plus 4 28ths, which is 11 28ths. So we can even throw in some of our old rules we've learned previously into problems cleverly. 8 to the 5th divided by 8 to the 9th. This can use our rules. Dividing with the same base, you subtract. It's 8 to the -4th, or 1 over 8 to the 4th. What is 1 over 8 to the 4th? It is 1 over, I'm just going to tell you, 4,096. You can multiply it out, but it's 1 over 4,096. 2 to the -4th over 5 to the -3rd. They're both negative exponents, so they both need to switch the part of the fraction they're in. It's really 5 to the 3rd over 2 to the 4th. Notice by switching them to the other side of the fraction, again, it got rid of the negative in the exponents, just 125 over 16. Generally speaking, though, when we have exponents, if you take an exponent which already has a power and you raise it to another power, you multiply the exponents. So we have 8x to the 8th to the 4th. You need to multiply 8 times 4 to get x to the 32nd. Y to the 5th to the -6th. 5 times -6 is -30, so we get y to the -30th. But again, what do we do with negative exponents? We move them to the other side of the fraction. So in this case, we go to the denominator. -7 times -3 is positive 21. So here's a situation where two negative exponents will cancel each other out, and then our work is done. Generally, if you have a bunch of stuff raised to an exponent, my suggestion will always be to clean up the inside as much as possible first. It's easier to make a number smaller before it gets bigger, instead of making numbers which are big get even bigger before you reduce them. So -18 divided by 9 is -2. A cubed divided by a to the 6th, 3 minus 6 is -3. B to the 5th divided by b to the 4th, 5 minus 4 is 1. Now, this gets distributed to all the terms. So that means it's -2 to the 4th. We've got a to the -3rd to the 4th. We have b to the 1st, all to the 4th. -2 to the 4th, -2 times -2 is 4, times another -2 is -8, times another -2 is 16. Again, we have power to a power. We multiply. -3 times 4 is -12. 1 times 4 here is 4. What needs to move? The a to the -12th. This is 16b to the 4th over a to the +12th. Now, on this last page, Let's bring it all together for some horrendous challenge problems. We'll do probably number 5 and maybe number 7. We'll do 7 first because it's easier. They should be in a different order, but they're not. So power to a power here, x cubed to the 4th is x to the 12th by multiplying. X squared to the 7th is x to the 14th. So now we divide by subtracting. So this is x to the 12th minus 14th power, which is x to the negative 2nd. But we're not allowed to leave negative exponents there, so this is 1 over x squared. Now let's look at number 5, because there's a lot going on. Okay, so first, this 3 needs to get distributed to all powers. So we have 2 cubed, p cubed, and then q squared cubed, even in the denominator. So by that, that's here 8p cubed over q to the 6th. This negative 1 is going to flip everything on the inside. So it becomes q to the negative 6. It just flips the whole fraction over 3p to the 6th. Now, this negative 6 shouldn't stay where it is. So I'm going to bring it down to the denominator as well. So 3p to the 6th, q to the 6th here. Okay, so what are my coefficients? 8 divided by 3, so that's 8/3. Let's deal with p. P cubed divided by p to the 6th, because this is all one thing because it's multiplied. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. In the denominator, we have q to the 6th and q to the 6th. We multiply across. 6 plus 6 is 12. So q is already where it's supposed to be because we already moved it. P to the negative 3rd needs to go to the denominator. So the only thing that should be left in our numerator is the 8. There's still a 3 in the denominator. There's now a p cubed in the denominator because this needs to go to the bottom, the denominator, because it has a negative exponent, and then there's a q to the 12th as well. And you can practice number 6 and 8 on your own. This is all for 4.1 and 4.2.